Hey guys, Evil D here. Time to make a new video about serrations. My other video about how I sharpen serrations is a little outdated in how I do it, and there's a lot of talk lately on the forum about it. We've got a new dragonfly coming with a hawk bill because yes, that's awesome! Thank you Spyderco for listening to our begs and pleas over the years for that one. That is long overdue if you ask me. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So let's get right into it. What we have here are my 3 favorite spider edge knives. First off, of course, the Dragonfly Salt. If you don't have one of these, you're a loser. No, but seriously, this knife is like a little stick of dynamite. There's not much that it can't cut. It's a little pocket chainsaw, and I believe the Hawkville version of this is just going to be even better. So next up, we've got what I believe are maybe the 2 best full-size spider edge knives you can get, if you can get them. First, we've got the Stretch. This is the Stretch 2, I believe. Stretch 1. I lose count. But this one is discontinued, unfortunately. Spyderco doesn't make it. And then this is the earlier version of the military that doesn't have the new CQI on it. I scored this baby at my local knife shop used, which is why the handle's kind of beat up, but the edge I don't think had ever been sharpened by whoever owned it. I mean, it looked factory new. Not many scratches on the blade, and I got it for a song, so really happy about that. And hey, check it out. Look at that. It's buttery smooth. So if you're worried about buying an old military because of the CQI stuff, you know, don't be too worried. There's no blade play. It drops like butter. And I believe it's pretty fairly centered. I mean, even the old militaries are winners, guys. But anyhow, let's get into sharpening. I've done a lot of things over the years. What I used to do was tapered diamond rod. This is still handy if your serrations are damaged and you don't want to spend all day on the sharp maker trying to fix a chip. But it's outdated in how I do it. Plus, if you use that, you're going to get ugly looking serrations. Let me get this stupid thing to focus. You see that? They're kind of ugly. It scratches them up. And this little V right here, this little guy right there, that was where I screwed up. So another thing I've experimented with, since this is a full flat grind blade, is honing the backside on a stone. That actually works pretty well, but you get an ugly blade. So what we do nowadays is sharp maker. Who would have thought Spyderco did their homework and they know what they're doing when they made a sharpening tool, right? So you sharpen it the way Sal says to sharpen it. You need more passes on the scallop side than the back side. When you do the back side, you want to lay this sucker almost flat when you come down. But a couple of tips on what I do. First off, you want to go slow, really slow. Let the corner of the rod get into those serrations. And then another thing I do is I make passes from heel to tip and from tip to heel going down the edge. That way you get both sides of the serration, right? The front and the back side. Another thing we can do, and someone just on the forum the other day mentioned this, is you can put a rod underneath here. And I use this little dimple as a reference point, so I put it in the same spot every time. And what that's going to do is it's going to change the angle. It's going to increase the angle of this rod so that you're making sure you're hitting the very edge of these scallops. I don't know what Spyderco shoot for as far as an edge angle on bevels. They seem to honestly be all over the place with serrated edges, and I'm not sure why that is. Sometimes the 40-degree slot on the sharp maker works just fine. Sometimes it's barely hitting the shoulder of the serration. Most of mine are within the 40-degree, but the Dragonfly is one that I need to put the rod underneath there. And if you put a marker, if you color in your serrated edge here, and hit it with the sharp maker, you'll see that maybe you're hitting the edge, maybe not. So just do what you have to do to change this angle where, you know, you can put it in varying places. You can put thicker things on here. Whatever you have to do to change that angle to where you're hitting the edge of the serration, that's going to get you the best results. And then, so we do the sharp maker. We get that sharp. And then here is my secret weapon. That right there. I call it power stropping. You can call it whatever you want. The basic concept behind it is the same as stropping. You know, if you have a strip of leather and some polishing compound, which I very, very rarely use because I think they're overrated. But they work on serrations really well. And so what I've got here is just a cotton wheel. See that? Very basic, very easy to find. Take this, load it up on your polishing compound, any polishing compound. I have tried everything from Flitz, which is really expensive, to plain old Red Rouge. Red Rouge works just fine. It happens to be what's already on this wheel, so that's what I've been using today. I tried to do this on camera once already today, screwed it up. So this dragonfly has been sharpened. If you look, the edge is nice and shiny. I guess that's a benefit, you know, it starts to take on a polish. But you know, once you experience a spider edge that can do that, when you don't screw it up like I just did, it's a game changer. You realize that your spider edge can do anything that your plain edge can do, plus it's a lot more aggressive. You try to cut something, you know, hard, like a plastic hose or something like that. Like I work on cars a lot. This is just a lot more aggressive. It bites in there. The magic behind serrations are those points. The points, they focus the pressure of your cut into a smaller surface area, and that surface area initiates the cut. This stupid phone will not focus. It initiates the cut, and then the serrations follow through. And because the serration is a constant curve, no matter how you hold the edge, they are always slicing, right? So there's almost never a push cut action with serrations. It's always slicing, which is pretty interesting. And then the points also, they protect your edge between the scallops. Think steak knife on a ceramic plate. So they have a lot of benefits, and I think they get a bad rep because people tend to be lazy when it comes to sharpening them. But believe me, guys, it's sometimes worth the effort. Do I prefer spider edge over plain edge? Heck no. I mean, I can show you just at arm's reach how many plain edge knives I have, and it far, far, far outweighs my spider edge knives, right? This one's not even mine, but you know. Point is, I like to play with spider edge because it's different. Why limit yourself to just plain edge? There's nothing wrong with having preferences and you know, sticking to what you like the best, but ultimately you're cheating yourself if you don't have at least one good spider edge knife and you learn to sharpen it and see what they are capable of doing with a good sharp edge on them. And then when you're a real badass, the next level beyond serrations is wood. Talk about edge retention. Look at that thickness behind the edge. This thing is a beast, and it's got a pink lanyard on it because this is my daughter's knife. Thanks for watching.